fam, it's askpRoy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss something a little different, but it is very big in my life. I really like to travel. It's huge, and my husband and I both have a very open spirit when it comes to that, so we like to visit different places that we've never been before. I get a lot of questions on how to travel, especially traveling internationally. I'm just going to offer you all 5 basic tips today. Now this tip number 1, can be used for the United States as well as internationally. My first tip is to pack light. Pack light. I'm going to say it one more time. Pack light. Erykah Badu told you not to be a bag lady, and she is correct. Like, you don't need to be a bag lady. When I say pack light, I really mean if you can get everything down to a carry-on, that's what you should do. That's your goal, to get everything down to a carry-on if you can. I've gone far away with just a carry-on. This last trip I took to London, I just had a carry-on. And it also matters how many days you're there, kind of, and it also matters what time of year that you go, and I can make a whole video on that alone. But I like to pack light, and I suggest it to anyone because when it comes to flights, I am a person that likes to jump flights if I can. You can't really jump flights if you've already checked in luggage, because they won't allow you to do that. And plus, you don't have a lot of stuff that you have to be responsible for when you're in these foreign countries or when you are in the United States. I remember one particular incident where my girlfriend and I were traveling to Miami. It was a big storm. It was like no flights really going out or in, but they did have one flight that we could have jumped on. Maybe both of us checked in our bags and we couldn't jump that flight, so we couldn't get down there earlier, and we had to wait hours in order to get down there, and I don't think we got there until the next day. So my biggest thing is to make sure that you pack light. Number 2, before you travel, a couple things that you need to make sure you've done. Make sure your whole itinerary is printed out. It's so easy to forget little things like your confirmation numbers, and also like where you're going to be, where you're supposed to be. When you're filling out immigration forms, you need to have information such as the hotel that you're going to be staying at. You need to make sure you write all of that down. So if you don't have your papers with you, then it's hard for you to remember that type of information. And most planes, they do have Wi-Fi, but why pay for the Wi-Fi when you can just pull out a piece of paper and write in that information? Also, have a copy of your passport on you, and that'll also go with your papers, because that's the only identification you have. And if you were to lose your passport, God forbid, what you gonna do? You gonna be stuck, bruh. So make sure you have a copy of your passport and copies of your itinerary. And with those copies, also send them off to somebody that you trust, somebody that you know. If you were to be in a bind, maybe your parents, maybe your spouse, maybe your siblings, best friends, someone that you know that you can really trust with that information, send all that information to them as well, so they can have that for their copies. And if you go missing, or if anything were to happen, or if they need to know where you are and you need to be reached, they will have that information on them. First tip, pack light. Second tip, make sure you have all of the necessary documents that you need. Tip number 3 is make a budget. This is prior to traveling and also while you are traveling. Prior to, you need to have in mind all of the monies that you will need up front for your trip. So you're thinking about flight, you're thinking about hotel, you're thinking about different excursions and activities that you want to do. You're also thinking about smaller things, or maybe not really smaller things, but let's say you have kids. Are your kids traveling with you? Will your kids need to go somewhere? Will they need a babysitter? Will they need food and stuff while they're there? I mean, you have to allot for that. I have dogs, so every time I travel, it's not just me and my husband traveling. It's me, my husband, then we have to put our dogs in boarding. So that adds up as well. You just need to think of all of the little monies that you will need to spend, and then you also need to consider the conversion rates when you go to foreign countries. Now in the United States, there are cities that are, you know, higher priced than other cities, so you have to take that into account, especially depending on where you live and where you're going to be staying in those areas. You'll need to take into account how that neighborhood operates. What is the rate there? How much is everything there? If you can't figure that out through friends or family or whomever you may be visiting. Of course, Google that type of information, but definitely know your conversion rates before you go and plan for that. Some places are significantly cheaper than the United States. Other places are significantly, yeah, you need to plan for that. Also, take into consideration how you will be getting your monies there. Will you be using the conversion places, the ones that sell the currency, or will you be going to ATMs? I found that ATMs are actually cheaper to use than going to these conversion places because they still take a little bit of money off the top because they're having to handle it. Tip 4 also ties into finance. Make sure you alert your bank before you go anywhere so that they'll know that during these days I will be out of the country and any purchases that I make with my debit card or my credit card are authorized by me. I remember when I went to China, I don't think I told my bank, but it flagged my card when I tried to use it. But I did have to call my bank and let them know, listen, I'm in China, I'm going to be here for, you know, X amount of days, and I need to make sure I have access to my funds so that I can use them. And the banks, they're good with that and they understand. Tip number 5, and this will be my last tip for this one. I'm kind of just rambling these off the top of my head, so I don't really have a planned list, but I know I needed to talk to you all about this. Make sure that you have the necessary tools that will help you survive in another country. I say tools because it's a couple of different things that I like to pack to make sure that everything will run smoothly while I'm over there. The first thing I like to pack is the converter. Now this converts wattage just in case, you know, you have something that's very powerful that needs to be charged. You can use this, plug this into the wall, and it will make sure that the correct wattage goes through so it doesn't blow out your appliances. You also need adapters, and I have a handful here. And these adapters help you to plug whatever appliances that you have into the walls or outlets in these respective countries. And it also tells you what country that you can use these in, so you'll know. I do have the one that I use for London somewhere. It's probably still packed up, but you need to know these type of things because you can't just plug your phone into wherever. Unless you have a USB cord, those are universal, so you can use that anywhere. I would also suggest carrying a scale so that you can weigh your items. So let's say you do want to check in luggage, which sometimes, like I said, you have to do and you need to do. There is a limit on how much it can weigh. It can only weigh 50 pounds. So if it exceeds that, and especially with your carry-on normally is like 10 kilos or something like that. It's not that much that you can carry in a carry-on. So if you are exceeding that limit, you need to know before you get to the counter because they won't let you get on the plane if your baggage is just too heavy, or you'll have to pay an extra fee. So to avoid all of that, I carry a scale, and we, you know, use a scale to lift up our luggage just to see how much it weighs. And if it's overweight, then we shift some things around so that it makes sense. We do this prior to leaving, so we do this at home first. Then on our way back, we do it again so we know how much luggage we have. Also, if you're nervous about getting pickpocketed, which can happen, there are belts that you can wear on the inside of your clothing that will keep your passport, that will keep your monies, that will keep everything on your body, and thieves can't get to that area. So if that's one of your concerns, or if you're going to a place that's highly, you know, make sure you watch your valuables, which you should be doing anyway, that is something that you can wear to make sure that, you know, everybody ain't all up in your junk. So those are 5 suggestions, 5 tips that I have. I can't say that those are my top tips because I have so much more information that I can give to you all. If you like these type of videos, make sure you thumbs up so that I know that you like it, and so that I can continue to make more of these. If you have any tips that you would like to share, make sure you share those in the comment section below. Make sure you let me know what type of videos on this topic you would like to see. All suggestions are welcome and should be left down in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, fam. Peace.